Hi, I'm Milton Rendell and welcome to Real News Friday. Look, another interesting week. Sales are starting to increase. There's a hangover from Christmas and New Year, which is obviously what we're going through. 698 sales occurred in the last week, so that's obviously up considerably from where it's been over the last couple of weeks. Stock levels, 4,778 properties, which is up 23.7% compared to a year ago. Now, the median house price or sale price at the moment is $745,000. That's sort of obviously gone up a little bit in the last couple of months. In terms of rentals, the median rent is still sticking at that sort of $660 per week. That sort of kicked up to later in the year, but the majority of last year was floating around that $650 mark. Rentals, availability of rentals is up about 15% compared to a year ago, but again coming off a very, very low percentage. The big thing now is probably between now and March, just to see where these statistics go, and I have been saying that for a few weeks. Main things to look at really is we'll be back to number of stock, number of properties on the market. At the moment we're finding a fair bit of inquiry, but again we've got a long weekend coming up, so obviously that sort of affects what people do. People tend to go away, do a whole pile of other things. We've just come out of Christmas and we've just come out of New Year as well. So January probably won't be a real great guide. And now we've also seen a lot of the politicians starting to make their promises, so we'll see what leads to that over the next couple of weeks. And as we know, good old Donald has moved into the White House only this week. So the next probably 6 to 12 weeks could be really interesting. Will it change a lot of direction? I don't think so. I think we'll maintain. I can't see the pressure for availability of rentals changing that much over the next few months. Stock-wise for sales, maybe a little bit of easing, but again, until we get up over that sort of 6,000 mark, I don't think we'll see too many dramatic changes. Interest rates is probably the biggest discussion on everyone's lips. Good and bad for interest rates. Interest rates, if they do come down, for those of us who've got mortgages, that certainly makes a difference. For those who are looking to buy, it increases affordability or possibility of buying something, but again, that could also be another catalyst to kick prices along again as well. So they're talking about inflation being more under control, but I still think that's probably to do with probably the fact that there's a few elections this cycle. So we'll see what happens. Overall, I still think the market's reasonably good. If you're a landlord, certainly this is a tough time for you in terms of, and I'm talking about your properties, those guys who've got houses with lawns and gardens. This time of year is obviously very, very dry. Therefore, the poor old tenant's going to try and maintain it the best way they possibly can. But even at my home, and I do a lot of extra watering in my place, I find it hard to maintain. So just be mindful if your poor old tenants are trying to probably do the right thing. Dead lawn is no good, we know that. But if it's slightly off, don't come down on too hard. Anyway, all the best. Hopefully don't get too hot. It's been a really hot week. It's obviously going to be hot. We're going into February, so it's going to get pretty hot. For the weekend, long weekend, we know it's Australia Day. I'm a proud Australian. I know it can be a controversial subject at the moment, but again, proud to be an Australian and proud to be part of a multicultural country. All the best. Catch up with you again next week.